Cale had never imagined that one small repair request would change everything he knew about his life. Orion Station moved endlessly through space like a floating city made of steel and light, and for most workers like him, days passed in quiet routine. Humans were still newcomers among the many alien civilizations, often treated as useful but unimportant. Cale did not mind. He preferred simple work, clear problems, and machines that followed rules. He worked in Maintenance Sector 7, a place filled with half-broken devices, cracked hull plates, and damaged navigation tools brought by travelers. Some technicians loved advanced research, but Cale loved repair. He believed every machine told a story through its damage, and if you listened carefully, you could understand what went wrong. That morning began calmly. He drank a warm cup of station coffee while reviewing repair tickets on a small screen. Most requests were ordinary: a malfunctioning cargo scanner, a damaged drone arm, a cracked oxygen regulator. Then a red-marked file appeared at the top of the list: Royal Clearance. Cale frowned. Royal assignments almost never reached general maintenance. Special engineers handled such clients. He opened the file carefully. The description was short and urgent. Navigation gear failure, immediate repair required. Restricted docking bay. He gathered his tools without complaint and walked toward the assigned area. As he passed through corridors, he noticed increased security patrols and unfamiliar alien guards standing at intersections. Something important was happening. The restricted docking bay was quiet, except for a low humming sound. 2 tall guards stood at the entrance. Their armor shimmered with faint energy lines, and their expressions remained unreadable. Cale introduced himself politely and showed his authorization. They scanned his badge for a long moment before stepping aside. Inside, he saw the ship. It looked alive. The surface shifted with soft metallic waves, reflecting light like moving water. Symbols flowed along its hull in patterns that felt almost organic. Even damaged, it radiated power and elegance. Cale slowed his steps, feeling both excited and nervous. This was far beyond the usual cargo vessels he repaired. A soft voice behind him broke his thoughts.
You are the human technician?
He turned slowly. The alien woman standing there was unlike anyone he had ever seen. Her posture carried quiet authority. Her eyes shone with faint silver light, and her expression remained calm but sharp, like someone used to command. Her suit was elegant yet functional, marked with symbols of status and rank. Cale immediately understood she was royalty. "Yes," he said respectfully. "My name is Cale. I will repair what I can." She studied him carefully, as if measuring something deeper than skill. "I am Princess Erin of the Lirathi," she said. "My ship suffered damage during an ambush. My engineers were injured. We cannot wait for replacements." Cale nodded. "I will start immediately." He entered the ship through the open ramp. Inside, the technology felt advanced but strangely logical. Smooth surfaces blended with glowing interfaces. The damaged navigation system sat near the command area, surrounded by burned-out conduits. He crouched beside it and examined the damage. Energy lines had melted together, and several components had fused into useless shapes. Without proper schematics, many technicians would refuse the job. Cale did not refuse. He scanned each part slowly, mapping connections in his mind. He noticed repeating patterns, small clues that revealed how the system worked. It was different from human technology, but not impossible. Princess Erin watched silently from nearby. She expected hesitation or fear. Instead, she saw patience. The human technician did not rush or show off. He observed, adjusted, and tested each idea carefully. Hours passed. Cale removed damaged sections and rebuilt connections using available materials. He improvised solutions, matching energy flows through logic rather than guesswork. Sweat formed on his forehead. but his focus never broke. At one point, the system sparked dangerously. He pulled back just in time, adjusting power levels to prevent overload. The princess stepped forward slightly, surprised by his calm reaction. "You understand Lyrathi engineering?" she asked. "Not exactly," he admitted. "But machines follow reasons. If you listen, they explain themselves." Her eyes softened slightly at that answer. Finally, he reattached the last conduit. The system glowed faintly, waiting for activation. Kael stepped aside. "You can test it now." Princess Erin approached the console. She placed her hand against the interface. Light flowed through the ship like a heartbeat returning. Displays stabilized. Navigation patterns appeared clearly. The repair worked. She stood silently for a moment, processing what she saw. Even elite engineers sometimes struggled with Lyrathi technology, yet this human had succeeded without guidance. "You repaired a royal navigation core without schematics?" she said slowly. Kael shrugged slightly. "I just fixed what was broken." Outside the ship, guards noticed the power surge and exchanged surprised looks. The princess turned toward them and spoke in her native language. Their eyes widened, and they bowed deeply. Kael shifted uncomfortably. "Is everything okay?" She faced him again, her expression now formal and ceremonial. "In my culture," she said, "a being who restores the heart of a vessel during crisis demonstrates loyalty, insight, and harmony. Such acts are sacred." Kael sensed something important coming, but did not understand what. She took one step closer. "In recognition of your actions, I declare you my chosen consort." The words felt unreal. Kael blinked several times. "I think maybe I misunderstood." "There is no misunderstanding," she replied calmly. "This is tradition." A human technician chosen by a Lyrathi princess? Such news would travel across the station within minutes. Kael felt heat rise to his face. He had come to repair equipment, not become part of royal tradition. "I am just a maintenance worker," he said carefully. "And yet," she answered, "you acted with courage and wisdom without seeking reward. Among my people, that is rare." He did not know what to say. Before he could respond, a communication alert sounded on her console. Her expression shifted slightly as she read the message. "Our pursuers have tracked us here," she said quietly. "We must leave soon." Kael suddenly realized the situation was far bigger than he expected. Whatever conflict damaged her ship was not over. She looked at him again. "You may refuse the title," she added gently. "But know this, you have already changed my path." He stood there, torn between disbelief and curiosity. His simple life on Orion's station felt distant now, replaced by uncertainty and possibility. Outside the docking bay, more crew gathered, watching from a distance. News spread rapidly. A human had repaired royal technology and earned the princess's favor. Kael took a slow breath. He had started the day as an unnoticed technician. Now he stood at the edge of a future he could not imagine, and somewhere deep inside, he felt that this was only the beginning. Kael stood near the entrance of the royal ship, still trying to understand what had just happened. Only hours earlier, he had been repairing broken cargo drones and arguing with vending machines that refused to accept his credits. Now an alien princess had declared him her chosen consort, and unknown enemies were apparently tracking her across space. Princess Erin moved calmly, despite the tension around her. Her guards prepared the ship for departure, checking weapon systems and scanning nearby space lanes. The air inside the docking bay felt heavier, filled with quiet urgency. Kael watched silently for a moment before speaking. "If someone is chasing you, why stay here?"
"We were forced to stop," she replied.
"Without navigation control, escape was impossible. Your repair changed that."
He nodded slowly.
Helping someone survive felt right, but becoming involved in royal conflict was something he never planned. "Do I need to come with you?" he asked carefully. She looked at him thoughtfully. You are free to choose your path. But if you remain here, those who hunt me may question everyone connected to this ship. That was enough for Kale to understand the risk. Orion Station was peaceful, but powerful factions could turn any place dangerous. Before he could answer, alarms echoed through the docking bay. Red lights flashed across the walls.
Unidentified vessels approaching,
one guard announced. Aaron's expression hardened slightly. They are faster than expected. He had lived through difficult times before, but never in the middle of interstellar conflict. Still, he forced himself to stay calm. Panic never fixed anything. What do you need me to do? He asked. She paused, surprised by his willingness. For now, stay close, she said. And observe. The ship's ramp closed, sealing them inside. Engines powered up with a deep vibration that spread through the floor. Through the viewing panel, Kale saw sleek black ships entering the docking zone without permission. Station security attempted to block them, but the enemy vessels moved with precise aggression.
Who are they? Kale asked.
Rivals who believe strength is taken, not earned, Aaron replied quietly. They seek control over Liarathi technology. The ship lifted from the platform and turned sharply toward open space. As soon as they cleared the station's perimeter, the enemy ships followed. Kale grabbed a support rail as acceleration pushed him back slightly. Outside, stars stretched into long lines as the ship entered high-speed flight. Energy beams flashed past them. One struck the rear shield, sending a vibration through the hull. Shields holding. Kale watched the control panels carefully. Even without full understanding, he noticed energy fluctuations caused by the recent repair. The system worked, but it was still unstable under heavy stress. Your navigation core might overload if they keep firing, he said. Aaron turned toward him quickly. Explain? The energy flow is balanced for movement, not combat pressure, he said, pointing at the readings. You need to redistribute power through secondary channels. One of the guards hesitated. Only trained Liarathi engineers adjust those systems. Or someone who listens to machines. Aaron considered for only a moment. Do it. KL moved to the console and began adjusting controls carefully. He redirected energy away from unnecessary systems, reinforcing shields without damaging propulsion. It felt similar to repairing an engine under pressure. Every movement required focus. Outside, enemy ships closed the distance. A sudden blast rocked the vessel, but the shields held stronger this time. Stabilization increased, the guard said, clearly surprised. Aaron watched Kale with growing respect. Humans were often seen as physically resilient but technologically average. Yet this technician continued proving otherwise. New jump coordinates ready, another guard announced. The ship aligned toward a distant star cluster. Prepare for jump, Aaron ordered. Kale stepped back as energy gathered around the vessel. Light bent around them, and space itself seemed to fold. The enemy ships fired again, but before the beams reached them, the royal ship vanished into hyperspace. Silence followed. The tension eased slightly, replaced by exhaustion. Kale sat down slowly, realizing how much adrenaline had filled his body. He had never imagined helping pilot a royal escape through space. Aaron approached him after giving instructions to her crew. You acted without fear, she said. I was afraid, he admitted honestly. I just didn't want the ship to break.
Your priorities are unusual, he laughed softly. Machines are easier to understand than people.
Among my people, partnership is built on balance, strength, and calm. Action and patience. That is why I chose you. KL shifted uncomfortably. I don't know anything about being royal, he said. Neither did I when I first carried responsibility, she replied gently. The ship exited hyperspace near a quiet system filled with blue stars. The danger seemed distant for now, but Kale sensed it would return. As hours passed, the crew relaxed slightly. Some guards approached Kale, curiosity replacing suspicion. Word of his repair and quick thinking had already spread among them. One younger guard asked, "Is it true humans fix machines without full instructions?" "Sometimes," Kale said with a small smile. "Sometimes we break them first too." The guard laughed, tension easing further. Later, Aaron guided Kale through parts of the ship. She explained Lyrathi traditions and responsibilities, though she avoided overwhelming him with details. He listened carefully, fascinated by how different yet familiar her culture felt. "Consort does not mean ownership," she clarified. "It means chosen partner, someone trusted to stand beside me." That eased some of his worries. As they reached an observation chamber, stars filled the wide window like scattered diamonds. Kale stood silently, thinking about how far he had come from simple station life.
"You may still refuse," she said quietly.
He considered her words. Fear and uncertainty remained, but so did curiosity and a growing sense of purpose. "I don't know what comes next," he said finally, "but I want to help." Her expression softened with genuine gratitude. Outside the ship, distant sensors detected faint signals, enemies searching through nearby systems. The journey had only begun, and the human technician was no longer just a bystander. He had stepped into a larger world, one where his skills and heart would be tested again and again. And somewhere ahead, challenges waited that would prove why a simple human had been chosen among stars. The royal ship moved quietly through deep space, far from busy trade routes. After escaping their pursuers, Princess Erin's crew remained alert, scanning constantly for danger. Kale spent most of his time near engineering systems, studying how the alien technology worked. The more he learned, the more he realized that machines were similar everywhere. Different designs, different energy sources, but always built around logic. Days passed without attack, yet tension never fully disappeared. The crew respected Kale now, though some still watched him with cautious curiosity. A human chosen as royal consort was something none of them expected. One morning, the ship received a long-range communication from Lyrathi space. Aaron listened silently while the message played. Kale noticed her expression change slightly. Not fear, but concern. "We are being summoned," she said afterward. "By who?" Kale asked. "The High Council," she replied. "They have learned about you."
Kale felt a sudden heaviness in his chest. "That sounds serious." "It is," she admitted.
"Many among my people question my decision. Humans are not fully understood by the older civilizations."
He already knew humans were often underestimated. That had been clear since his first days on Orion Station. The ship changed course toward Lyrathi territory. As they approached, Kyle saw enormous structures floating around a blue-white star. Elegant cities shaped like flowing crystal. The beauty of the system amazed him. Everything looked carefully designed, not only for function, but for harmony. Their arrival triggered multiple security scans. Royal guards escorted the ship toward a central station larger than any place Kale had seen before. As they docked, groups of Lyrathi officials waited outside. Kale felt nervous but tried not to show it. "You do not need to fear," Aaron said quietly as they prepared to leave the ship. "Speak honestly. That is enough." He followed her down the ramp. The officials watched him carefully, their glowing eyes filled with curiosity and doubt. Some whispered among themselves. Inside the station, they walked through long halls decorated with symbols of history and leadership. Eventually, they reached a wide chamber where several council members waited on raised platforms. The atmosphere felt heavy with expectation. Princess Erin stepped forward with calm confidence. Kale stood beside her, unsure of the proper customs but determined to remain respectful. One council member spoke first. You claim this human restored your royal navigation corps and earned the title of Consort.
Yes, Aaron answered firmly. Another council member tilted their head slightly.
Humans are known for adaptability, but such recognition is rare. Explain your reasoning. She described the events clearly. The ambush, the damage, Kale's repair without schematics, and his assistance during their escape. Her voice remained steady, showing complete trust in him. The council members listened carefully, but their expressions remained neutral. Finally, one elder spoke directly to Kale. Human, do you understand the weight of this role? He paused briefly before answering. Not fully, but I understand responsibility. And I will not pretend to be more than I am. Some council members seemed surprised by his honesty. Another asked, why should we accept a human as consort to our princess? Kale thought carefully before responding. He did not want to sound defensive or arrogant. I cannot speak for all humans, he said.
But we survive by learning. We are not the strongest or oldest species.
We make mistakes, but we keep trying until things work.
That is what I did when I repaired the ship.
Silence filled the chamber for several seconds. Before the council could respond, an alert interrupted the meeting. A guard rushed into the chamber, speaking urgently in the Lyrathi language. Erin's expression sharpened. The enemy has followed us. She translated quietly to Kale. They are approaching this system. The council reacted immediately. Defensive fleets prepared for battle. Kale watched large displays showing enemy ships entering Lyrathi space. Their design looked aggressive, covered with dark armor and sharp edges. Erin turned toward him. Stay here.
It may become dangerous. He shook his head.
If I can help, I should. She hesitated, then nodded. They moved toward a command center overlooking the battlefield. Lyrathi ships formed elegant formations, their movements precise and coordinated. The enemy fleet advanced quickly, firing long-range weapons. Kale observed the tactical displays carefully. Something about the enemy's strategy caught his attention.
They are targeting communication relays, he said.
Yes, one officer confirmed.
They attempt to disrupt coordination.
Kale studied the patterns.
Your ships rely on synchronized timing.
If communication fails, your advantage disappears. The officer looked surprised.
That is correct. Can you create independent control loops? He asked. Small groups operating separately but following a shared pattern?
That is not standard doctrine, Aaron spoke firmly. Implement his suggestion, dividing into smaller, coordinated units.
When enemy interference disrupted one group, others continued functioning. The battle quickly shifted. Lyrathi ships began outmaneuvering their attackers, striking with precise accuracy. One officer whispered, "The human strategy increased efficiency by 20%. Kale felt slightly embarrassed by the attention but stayed focused on the displays. Eventually, the enemy fleet retreated, unable to maintain advantage. Relief spread through the command center. The council members who had watched from observation platforms turned toward Kale with new expressions. Not doubt, but respect.
You see patterns differently, one elder said.
Kale shrugged gently. Sometimes, outsiders notice things others accept as normal. The council began speaking among themselves. Their voices softened, no longer questioning his worth, but discussing implications. Finally, the elder addressed them again. Human KL, your actions today demonstrated insight and loyalty. Perhaps our understanding of humanity has been incomplete. KL did not know how to respond, so he simply bowed his head slightly. After the meeting, Aaron walked beside him through a quiet corridor. You changed their minds? She said. I only tried to help, he replied. That is exactly why you were chosen, she said softly. Outside the window, Stars shone peacefully again after the battle, but Kao sensed greater challenges ahead. The enemy would not give up easily, and political tensions within the Lirathi would continue. Still, something had shifted. He was no longer seen as an outsider or a strange choice. He had begun to prove that human adaptability and determination could stand beside ancient alien traditions. And for the first time since leaving Orion Station, he felt not like a visitor, but like someone who truly belonged among the stars. After the battle, the Lirathi system returned to quiet order, but beneath the calm surface, change had already begun. News of the conflict spread across nearby sectors, and with it came stories about the human technician who had helped save the royal ship and changed the flow of battle with unexpected insight. Kale still felt like the same person who once repaired cargo drones in a noisy maintenance bay, yet everyone around him now treated him differently. Officers asked for his opinion during technical discussions. Even council members greeted him with polite respect. The attention felt strange, but he accepted it calmly. Princess Erin continued her duties as leader and strategist, but she made time to walk with Kale through the crystal gardens of the central station. These quiet moments helped both of them think clearly after days filled with tension. "You are adapting quickly," she said one evening as they watched distant ships moving like lights across space.
"I'm trying," Kale replied. "Everything here is new, but machines and people both make more sense if you listen first."
Many leaders forget that. Despite the temporary victory, warnings soon arrived from scouts. The enemy fleet that had attacked them earlier had regrouped. This time they were gathering more forces, preparing for a larger strike. The High Council called an emergency meeting. Kyle attended beside Erin, aware that his presence now carried weight. One elder spoke with concern. "The enemy seeks more than victory. They want access to our technology and authority over our people." Another added, "They believe capturing the princess will weaken our unity.
Erin stood tall.
We will not allow fear to guide us." The council agreed to prepare defenses, but uncertainty filled the room. The enemy fleet was larger than before, and traditional strategies might not be enough. After the meeting, Kale walked through the command center alone, studying tactical projections. The enemy ships formed aggressive formations, designed to overwhelm through numbers. Lirathi ships were elegant and precise, but fewer. He thought about human history, how smaller groups often survive through creativity instead of strength. Later that night, he approached Erin with an idea. "What if you change the battlefield before the fight begins?" he asked. She tilted her head slightly.
"Explain."
"They expect you to defend directly," he said.
But humans sometimes win by changing expectations. If you hide your true formation and use decoys, you could divide their forces.
She listened carefully as he described using energy reflections and false signals to create phantom fleets. The plan required risk but offered a chance to break enemy coordination. The next day, she presented the strategy to the council. Some members hesitated at adopting a human-inspired tactic, but recent events had already shown the value of Kale's perspective. Preparation began immediately. Engineers worked tirelessly to modify ships, creating energy projections that looked real on enemy sensors. Fleets repositioned silently, waiting for the right moment. As the enemy fleet entered the system, tension spread across every station and ship. Kale stood beside Erin in the command center, watching the displays. Enemy ships advanced confidently, targeting what they believed were the main Lirathi forces.
"Deploy decoys," Erin ordered. Energy signatures multiplied across the battlefield, confusing enemy scanners.
Several hostile groups separated, chasing false targets. "Now," she said. Digital Lirathi ships moved into position, surrounding smaller enemy units. Precision strikes disabled several vessels quickly, reducing their numbers before the main conflict even began. The battle intensified. Bright flashes filled the darkness of space. Kale watched closely, offering small adjustments when needed, redistributing energy, suggesting movement patterns, helping officers interpret changing data. At one point, an enemy flagship broke through the defensive line and moved directly toward the command station.
If that ship reaches firing range, it could damage the station badly, an officer warned. Aaron gave calm orders, but the enemy vessel was heavily shielded.
Kale studied its energy signature. Their shields are strongest in front, but the rear energy flow is unstable.
How do you know?
The officer asked.
They are pushing too much power into forward weapons,
Kale replied.
They sacrificed balance.
Aaron understood immediately. She redirected nearby ships, attacking from unexpected angles. The enemy flagship struggled to adjust, its shields weakening under pressure. Within minutes, it lost power and drifted helplessly. Seeing their leader disabled, the remaining enemy ships retreated. Silence followed. Then cheers spread through the command center. The battle was won. Aaron turned toward Kale, gratitude clear in her eyes. You changed the outcome again. I just noticed patterns, he said modestly. The High Council later gathered in a formal ceremony. This time their tone was different. Where once there had been doubt, now there was respect. One elder addressed Kale directly. Human Kale, your actions have protected our people and strengthened our future. You have shown that wisdom does not belong to one species alone. Another added, we officially recognize your role as chosen consort, not only by tradition, but by merit. Kyle felt both proud and humbled. He had never sought recognition, yet he accepted it with quiet sincerity. After the ceremony, he walked with Aaron through a balcony overlooking the stars. The system glowed peacefully, free from immediate danger. Do you regret your choice? He asked softly. She shook her head. No. You bring balance I did not know I needed. He looked at the stars, thinking about his old life. Repair bays, quiet routines, simple expectations. Everything had changed, yet he felt more alive than ever. I never imagined becoming part of something this big, he admitted. Sometimes destiny begins with small actions, she said.
He laughed quietly.
Like fixing a broken machine. Like understanding instead of forcing, she corrected gently.
Time passed, and the bond between them grew stronger. Built not on power or tradition alone, but on trust and shared experience. The Lyrathi people began to see humans differently, inspired by the example standing beside their princess. For Kale, the greatest change was not status or title. It was the feeling that he belonged somewhere beyond the limits he once imagined. He had started as a simple technician. Now he stood among stars as partner, protector, and symbol of a new connection between species. And as they watched distant galaxies together, both knew that their journey was far from over. But whatever challenges came next, they would face them side by side.